I'm, like, literally petrified. I'm like, "I feel like this guy is, like, possessed on The Ring."
Yes,
And
yes.
I'm like,
What's her name?
I'm here, get into bed." After, like, 15 minutes, he just puts himself back to bed and falls
Like
asleep.
nothing happened.
And I'm like, "What the actual just happened?" Like, I'm scared of my own kid. Is that even my kid? Like, what is and I'm like, "Now I understand her walking around with the prayers."
It's behavior, bitches.
Hey guys, it's Liat. Welcome back to today's episode of Behavior Bitches podcast. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the show. We are having fun doing it, and I'm having so much fun bringing different bitches on. All of you are bitches, you know? Bitches is a good thing, by the way. Today's guest is an oldie but a goodie. And we also just like connect. I don't know what it is, and it's just an easy podcast. So we're like, okay, well, let's do it again. So our guest is, oh wait, I can't tell you that yet. First, I have to do a review of the day. And Dad, I'm sorry. I know you said you hate the review of the day in the beginning, but this movie is not about you because I like it to know that I'm doing something right. So everyone keep leaving reviews. This one is from, whoa, their name is All the Nicknames Are Taken, Boo Hoo. And it's a 5-star review and it's titled ADHD Study Miracle. As an ADHD girly, studying is my worst energy. I love this podcast breaks down ABA terms in a way that is novel and fun. Thank you so much. All the nicknames are taken, boohoo. That means a lot. And leaving the reviews keeps us going. And I'm happy for you ADHD peeps like myself that this is helping. Amazing. Dun, dun, dun. To our intro. Our guest today is none other than Emily Varon. She's a BCBA and pediatric sleep specialist who helps families ditch the bedtime chaos using real science-backed strategies. She's the founder of Ready Set Sleep and brings over 20 years of experience making ABA practical, compassionate, and totally relatable. My girl. This isn't her first time on the Behavior Bitches podcast, as I said, but I am so happy to have her back. And she always brings the good stuff. She's funny. She's cool. Emily, welcome to the show.
Hi, Leon. It's good to see you. One day I'm going to see you IRL. I
I
keep
know. Well,
threatening to
actually,
come
now
here.
that I like broke my conference cherry, which
Yes, I was so excited to see you.
like
I
I
mean, not see you, but like see you there.
see
That was nice.
that I'm like leaving my house and this warehouse. Yeah, me too. So now that I've done it, like I started off nice, like kind of like shaping the behavior. They were like it was APBA and Tech Saba happened to be in Dallas. So now next time maybe I go a little further, like
Well, you
Oklahoma.
went all the way. You went all the way to Connecticut.
Oh, that's true. I did go to Connecticut, but I didn't like set up Snabba there. But I think
Okay.
do you go to Calaba?
You know, I sneak in and I sneak out. I've presented the last couple years, but I just I mean I do. I don't do a booth or anything like that. I usually try and speak just because the last couple years it's only an hour from my house. It's in Pasadena. I'm like down in Irvine, so I like kind of go up. The first year I went the whole day and I saw a bunch of people that I used to work with, and it was great. But this last year, I think I presented at like 11:30 or something like that. I literally parked my car at 11, came in, spoke, and I left. It was like, I'm in, I'm out, I'm done. I guess it's just because it's sort of the luxury of having it be close by, but
Yeah, no Dallas. That's why like we were able to make our tables like
yeah.
so over the top because it was here, you know, like you just put it in the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had to figure
Oh, I loved the pictures of your booth. I
it was
thought it was
so
just like
fun.
a window into Liat's brain.
It literally 1,000% is. And that's why I don't sleep. Speaking of sleep,
Don't say that. Don't say that. La 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 la.
no,
Like,
last night was like rough. I'll tell you. Like I kept looking, I'm like, oh, now it's 4:30. Now it's this. But
yeah.
that now it's morning. Like, do I even go to bed? You know, kind of thing like that. But yeah,
Yeah, no,
if
you
I go to
don't.
Calaba, then you'll come to Calaba, obviously.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course.
Okay, yeah,
Of
because
course
we're
I'll go to
actually planning
Calabasas.
on which ones we want to go to next year.
Yeah.
And I have a question. When you want to speak at a conference, do they invite you or you like send
It
in a
can happen
paper?
either way. It can happen either way. So right now I'm sort of 50-50, where half of the conferences I go to, I've been invited as a speaker, and then half I've submitted a paper.
Oh,
So
nice.
it just depends. Yeah, it just depends. I think ideally you want to get invited. I think that's like, nice. It's good. It's good for my ego. It's good for people to,
Yeah.
see that you've been invited. But yeah, I mean, I'm still submitting papers and things like that.
I
just
think I
because
want to do that. Like we've never done that, but Martha, I think that could be something like that we do as like a goal.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're listening and you want to invite me, I'm there, baby. I'm a fun guest. I'm good. I'm clean, organized.
Yes. As long as
I
you show
guess you
up
don't. I mean,
clean,
that doesn't mean you have to like
like
live
with
with
your
me.
mouth.
That doesn't mean you have to
No.
like live with me if you invite me. Just saying.
I love it. I don't know. I love speaking. I don't love I'm going to say this. I don't love conferences because I have like a lot of not social anxiety, but I I find it hard making conversation with people is like the weirdest thing. But so it's like kind of uncomfortable for me to go do and like the networking and talk to people and chat and be really chatty. I usually need a wingman for that. But I love speaking.
I'll
I
wingman.
love talking.
I'll wingman.
Yeah, wingman. You tell me where you're going to be. I will make myself show up.
Okay, cool. Because I mean, but the battery of like social battery after a conference is like depleted.
Yeah, I find myself doing a lot of emotional eating at conferences.
I love
I
it.
swear on my life. I swear to God. I swear to God. I was invited to the Profound Autism Summit just what was it, a month ago? It was back in April, the beginning of April. And they had an Eataly, like that
Oh yeah,
it's like Mario Batali's like
yeah. We
Eataly,
have
where
one
it's
here.
like Italian thing. They had one in just like across the street in like the mall where the conference was being held, and I swear I was there like 6 times over 3 days.
Just like
Oh, just getting bread and desserts and like, having a glass of wine by myself. I have a very small social battery. So if I have I can really work it. I can fake it till I make it. I can go and be social and talk to all the people, but then I need to like hide out in my hotel room surrounded by lots of chocolate and carbohydrates.
no, yeah, no. I totally hear it. It was crazy. I was like, I am just like wiped for like 3 days after. All right,
Yeah.
Emily, I need to know some things very important.
Yes.
This or that, sweet or salty?
Sweet. Didn't I just tell you? Yes, sweet. Definitely. 100%.
You know I don't listen. I just talk. I'm just kidding.
No, I would honestly eat cake and cookies and ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if I could.
Like,
Really
are
would.
you a chocolate person? You said?
I'm not a chocolate person. I definitely eat a ton of chocolate. I don't always go for chocolate. I think I would rather have like cake with thick frosting.
Like nothing bundt cakes?
Yes, I could eat like 90% of a nothing bundt cake. Yes,
They're
something
so
like that.
good. Ugh,
There's crack in them. They're
totally.
definitely made with like crack or something addictive.
Text or call?
Oh, that's hard. I guess text just because it's easier and it's more like common, but I do love to sit on the phone with like a friend for like 6 hours. I love to talk on the phone, but I just don't get an opportunity to very often.
Right. I mean, I love texting, but I definitely always like make a call when I'm in the car. So anytime I enter the office, I'm like ending a phone call.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't have a lot of opportunities to actually speak on the phone, but I would much rather speak on the phone. So I guess maybe call. I'm a girl of the 80s, man. Like, I mean, come on. I spent 90% of my time on my princess phone when I was a teenager. Does anybody in the audience know what the hell a princess phone is? I hope someone does.
What's a princess phone? Is it like the clear
Oh,
one?
shut up!
Like the VTech like clear ones?
It connects to the wall. You pick it up. There's a dial tone. No, it looks like I don't know. It looks like almost like I don't know. It looks like a phone from the 80s that doesn't have like a proper handle that you can put it like on your shoulder and put your head to it and it like cradles your whole face. It like kind of conforms to your face. I don't know. Someone in your office needs to Google a princess phone right now.
Wait, Martha, you want it?
Mine was purple. Mine was lavender.
No,
Mine
because
was
I
a
remember
lavender.
like the VTech, like those portable phones.
No.
Oh, of course I know what that is. I didn't know it's called a princess phone.
That's because you were born.
No, I
in the
didn't know the
90s.
name of it. Of course I know what that is. And then what about like when they started making the ones that were like the shape of lips and like the
Yes.
right?
Yes. That's a modified princess phone. You need one of those for your background. You have
I
to have one on
totally
your side
actually I
table.
think we need one for the set. And every day I'm gonna be like, Welcome to Behavior
Yep.
Bitches Podcast. Today's episode.
Exactly.
Look it up, please.
Get on
Martha,
it.
get
The
on
lips.
Temu. All right.
You get the lips.
Okay. Stay in or go out.
Stay in.
TikTok scroll or podcast binge.
I'm not on either. Ooh.
Oh,
I'm on LinkedIn. I don't engage in social media unless it's LinkedIn.
you're
I don't-
you're
that's
you're a
not
real
really-
hero.
So neither.
Reality
Sorry.
TV or documentary.
Oh, reality TV. Oh yeah.
What's your go-to?
If I'm watching reality, I'll do any of the housewives. I'll do any of those housewives. I'll just pick one. If it says Real Housewives of, I'll turn it on. I don't know why.
And like pick up
Or-
wherever it is in the season. You don't
Oh
mind?
my gosh, I love the Sunset. What's it? Shaws of Sunset. That's one of my favorites. I don't even know if it's on anymore,
what's
but
that
you
one?
can still Shaws of Sunset. Oh, fun.
Martha loves
That is-
Martha loves all those.
I love all that. Yes, reality. Show me all the people shopping all day long and like just going out to lunch and like living the life.
My favorite was Selling Sunset. I just love
I
Selling.
love, yes, Selling Sunset and Selling New York. I love that.
Is Selling New
Selling
York
New
as
York-
good as Selling Sunset? Like the outfits?
So Selling New York is the original before Selling Sunset.
Mm.
So Selling New York was first, and then with like Ryan Serhant and like all those guys.
Oh, cute.
Yes, and now he's got his own show. Yeah, I know, I love all that. Yes.
It's Behavior Bitches.
Hey guys, it's your favorite bitch, Liat here. Are you stressing about taking the BCBA or BCABA exam? Feeling like you don't know where to start? You got into this field, you're worried, your program didn't prepare you so much, you're wondering how you're gonna get through grad school, then let alone take this test? Well, let me take that stress on for you. Over here at Study Notes ABA, this is what we do. We eat, breathe, sleep, thinking about the BCBA exam. I've been carrying around my Cooper book for the last 8 years so that you can chill. If you're getting ready to study and wondering what you could be doing, sign up for our live collective. It's 12 weeks, which is done over 24 classes. We meet twice a week. It's taught from actual BCBAs who have been there in your shoes studying for the exam. We make everything relatable, funny. You are actually going to enjoy the study process. And hold me to that. If you're not enjoying it, let me know. I'll be shocked. You get a study group, people who are studying the exact same thing, shared adversity. We could ask all your questions, and we take all the notes with you. You are going to have the most beautiful doodles by the end, and your Cooper book will seem way less scary. Are you worried about payment plans? We've got that too. We get what it's like being an RBT in the field. So stop stressing, start getting ready to pass the test, and go to studynoteaba.com/collectives, and we have it all there laid out beautifully for you.
Show
So,
it to me.
Emily, I'm bringing you on today. I know we've spoken about sleep before. It's been a minute,
Yeah,
and
it's been a minute.
it's actually something I'm like struggling a lot with lately. Like my sleep is just so off. So
Everybody's is. You're not alone. Everybody's is. And I barely ever talk to people who are sleeping really great. So you're in good company.
So I want to talk about really screen time.
Okay.
Because I was listening to a podcast yesterday. What was it called? What was this girl's name? I was like, well, this is good foreplay to tomorrow's episode. So I listened,
Mm.
and her name was the Liz Moody podcast.
Ooh, okay.
And she talks about 5 science-backed hacks or 5 science-based reasons as to why you're tired all the time.
Let me see. Can I list them?
Yeah,
Do you know
let's
what
see.
they
Let's
are?
see if you have them.
Okay, well, screen time. So, okay, not sleeping enough at night. So, not sleeping enough hours. Sleeping enough hours, but waking up multiple times in the middle of the night. So, is she talking about the environmental variables, like the setting events that are manipulating sleep, or is she talking about like the most common sleep problem?
She was saying like, oh, these are more like
Things that are disrupting your sleep?
yeah, and like easy science-backed solutions.
Oh, okay. So, caffeine, screen time,
Mhm.
exercise, movement.
Yep.
What else could there be? Oh, eating too late at night, food.
Meal timing, brilliant.
And ooh, what's the fifth? Hold on. I'm going to get it. Oh, alcohol.
Oh, that's when okay, so, yes, all those things were different part of, like, the diet part, but then I mean, and by the way, I don't have them all written down exactly, and I'm actually just looking at the description of the show, and it has,
Yeah.
it's showing at what's happening at different times. She talks a lot you
Okay.
said meal timing, um,
Oh, yeah. Medications too. Medications,
yeah, and
sleep
she was
medications.
saying, um, like, micro stressors, like, little things as well, such as,
Oh, yeah.
um, like it's like the little things throughout the day. So, like, for example, I'm this person, like, you need to be somewhere at 12, so you leave at, like, 11:02. So then you're kinda stressed the entire way there,
Yeah.
and she's like, "It
Hmm.
actually, like, does mess up your sleep at the end of the day." And then there was something
Yeah.
also, um,
Cumulative.
something that, like,
Cumulative.
as soon as you wake up in the morning, and especially as close to sunrise as possible, you should go outside to get is it serotonin for the
So
day? I don't know, like
no, it's getting, yeah. Well, okay. I would love to see the actual science behind actually getting outside first thing in the morning because it's supposed to be that you're getting blue light exposure as close to wake up in the morning. And it's kind of come to be, and I this emerged in like the newborn, toddler, infant age. This the first time I heard it was I was doing a mommy and me. This was a while back, but one of the moms was like, "Yeah, I take my baby outside every single morning as soon as they wake up." And I'm like, "Well, what time do they wake up?" And she said 6:30. And I said, "Well, okay, why?" And she said, "Well, because you're supposed to get sunlight first thing in the morning, so that will help them sleep better at night." And I'm thinking like, okay, let's look at this. Okay, that's a great recommendation, right? Okay, amazing. That feels right. There's probably some science behind it. But then I think about how realistic is that for the world? And can that really be human science if we have people living in Alaska where it's sunlight all day long or nighttime all day long? Like, where are you going to get that from? What about the guy living, in Wisconsin who it's 0 degrees below a
right.
thousand, like right at 6:30 in the morning? Are you really going to do that with your 4 month old?
Or like
Like, let's
Seattle where it's, like, raining all the time.
yeah. So let's like think about these recommendations and put them into reality and say like, okay, maybe we just need to get outside more often. Maybe we just need to get a healthy dose of sunlight throughout the day. Direct exposure to like the actual sun helping your circadian rhythm, that's not the thing that's going to fix it. Like if you have shitty sleep hygiene and you're not sleeping great and you're having booze to sleep or you're taking medication or you're up all night scrolling and you have crappy sleep and then you wake up in the morning at 6:30 and think that going outside is going to fix your sleep.
Like right, yeah, that's not, like, fixing the core problem, but also, by the way, just anyone studying, I wanna drop the word pragmatic or pragmatism, as Emily was hearing the solution that I said that I heard on this podcast about, getting out first thing in the morning, and she's like, "But, like, honestly, like, can't everyone do it?" Like, she was saying,
Yeah,
like, that's not necessarily pragmatic, right? Like, the simplest
yeah,
solution,
yeah.
and when we talk about the word pragmatism, which is one of the things of, I have to think always, of
Behavior analysis.
Of one of the dimension or attitude one of the attitudes of science,
Yes.
um, like, is
Yes.
it the most practical? So, like, she kinda did make it more practical, being like, "Just make sure you get outside in the daytime," as
Yeah.
opposed to, like, first thing in the morning, it's, like, as close to when the sun rises.
Yeah. If you're having like a circadian rhythm problem, like if you've been diagnosed with circadian rhythm, you know, phase, like sleep phase shifts, or I forget all the real
My
diagnoses, all
roommate in
the
college
actual
had
words.
that. She would be up the
Yeah.
entire night, and she's like she was diagnosed with something, like, it was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. It can be. And that's usually comes down to a couple things. One of that is that your brain's not producing melatonin at the right time or at all. It can have things to do with, hormones going on in your pituitary, things not firing off in the right way. There's a lot of reasons for that. But yeah, like if you're just an average person, getting outside at 6:30 in the morning to find the sun is not going to fix your sleep. It's not going to fix your sleep problem. So yeah, so yeah, pragmatism, being pragmatic about, what you're reading. Like that's great. I live in California, sure. If you're living in, California year round, you could probably get outside and get some sunlight first thing in the morning, but the chances that there's actually going to be a significant impact is, like I said, I just want to see the study. Look, there's lots of science backing lots of different things, but I watched, not watched, I listened to a podcast. I don't remember which one it was, but it's a podcast that they kind of like pull apart research. They look at different studies,
Yeah.
medical, environmental, whatever. And they always say, read the method section, because the method section is where the authors hide the bodies. And that really like rang true for me, especially with sleep research, especially when we're dealing with kids. I imagine that most of the audience probably is working, in a field where, they're with autistic learners. So, we have to be careful about, the science that we're quoting, the science that we're using. We have to make sure it's practical and pragmatic. We have to make sure that they haven't hidden any bodies in the method section of what we're trying to claim and give base our advice on, right?
Right. So, can we talk about screens?
Yeah, let's because there's brand new research
Wait, and is
that came out
is
within the
is
last year.
screens are screens blue light?
Yes, they are.
So you said you're
Yeah.
supposed to do that first thing in the morning, so like you should look at your phone?
I'm not sure that's what the
Mm,
recommendation is, but I would say hypothetically, like perhaps like first thing in the morning is when you want to look at your screens instead of late at night. But what they're finding is that the blue light isn't really what is controlling the reinforcing value of sleep at bedtime and causing all that sleep onset latency we talked about. I think last time we talked about blue light and screen time and get off your screens because of the blue light, and I can talk more about that. But yeah, I mean, look, in places where they get darkness 24 hours a day or like, 20 hours a day, they use blue light therapy. They use, LED lights and things like that to give the inhabitants of those cities and those countries kind of a false sense of daylight. So blue light therapy, there's a lot to it, especially for people with circadian rhythm, disruptions and diagnoses and things like that. It can be really effective. I think on average, I would imagine, because we're like human, that the natural source of sunlight would probably be the best throughout the day. Also, we don't want to encourage people to get all of their blue light from synthetic screens if we can, because we want people to get out of their of their houses.
right. I mean,
I would
because there's
imagine.
other like, yeah, you might be getting like whatever light from the screen, but there's other like variables that are also like for example, probably affecting the rest of your day, right? So like I
Yeah.
know if I'm on my phone first thing in the morning,
Mm.
I've already started my day not productive because
Yes.
then I start scrolling and I'm
Yes.
there laying. Then it's like
Yes, and then you're leaving your house at 2 minutes of 12 when you have to be there at 12 because
it,
you lost track of time. Because you have ADHD and because you probably experience a significant dose of time blindness. Am I right?
totally. I mean, it's like no, but then once I'm like on it for the day or like once
You're
I'm
on.
on it, then it's like the
Yeah.
addiction starts for the day, right? Because then it's like, oh
Mhm.
shoot, which podcast am I going to listen to while I'm getting ready? Oh my god, look at this post. Like
Mhm.
everything is taking so much
Yeah.
longer
Yeah.
that actually 2 days ago, I was like, I'm literally like temporarily like deleting these apps from my phone because
Yeah.
at night I could be because to me, I'm like, oh, this is my calm time. This is like Kobe's gone to sleep. I finally have time for me, right?
Mm.
I just want to
Let's talk about
scroll.
that.
Huh?
Let's talk about me time at bedtime. Let's talk about me time at bedtime. I
Okay.
think that's a really good segue into screen time, because most of what I hear out and about in the world is, well, that's my time, that's my me time, that's me time at bedtime, that's the only time I have, and that's my time, right? Now let's think about technology. What are you actually doing during that time, right? You're scrolling on, let's just call it Instagram, okay? All platforms have a metric that they use to feed you information, and it's called TOP, time on platform, right? Based on how much time you're spending on their platform, they push different content, different things your way. It's the algorithm, all of that. When you like, click, comment, or view anything on that platform, and that goes for TikTok, and that goes for, Reddit, that goes for X, that's da da da. You enter into their algorithm. Uh, and first of all, you have a really hard time coming off of it. but also it's time you're giving to someone else. It is not me time. It feels like me time. So I like to help adults kind of reframe that me time and say, like, why is that me time? Because it's just blind entertainment. Well, watch Netflix instead. Load Netflix onto your phone if that's what you like. Watch a TV show, watch something that's not a continuous scroll. Because every time you like, click, view, whatever, right? It's time you're giving to the content creator. So, like, Liat, no offense, if I go on and I scroll all of the Behavior Bitches reels, right? If I go on the podcast and it's time I'm giving to your algorithm. It's not time I'm getting for myself. So, this time on platform, right? We were talking about time on platform is how they basically push content to you. And so, every time I like, click, view, anything I interact with on Instagram. So, Liat, if I'm liking or viewing like the Behavior Bitches reels or something like that, and I'm looking at your contact and I'm liking and content and I'm liking it and commenting on it or sharing it or whatever it is, this is actually time I'm giving to you, Liat. You're not even here, right? I'm giving it to you, or I'm giving it to X content creator. It's not actually me time. It's time I'm giving to the platform. So if we can make that mental shift in our brain and understand that this isn't time I'm actually giving to myself, it's actually time I'm giving to someone else, it feels a little bit less valuable, right? We're decreasing that reinforcing value. Now,
So like
if you're just
shifting that
scrolling,
operational definition of me time.
yes, because you're not actually serving yourself at all. And what the good research shows that has been really substantial over the last 10 years is that people feel worse when they get off of their device. You feel psychologically worse. You feel more depressed. You feel more down. You do not feel complete. You do not feel satiated. You do not feel happy. You do not feel any of those things that you felt during the one golden doodle reel that you saw that you were like, oh, that's so cute. And you like it and you commented like a golden doodle life forever, whatever it is. Like that is a hit of dopamine, yes, but the amount of non-dopamine hits you're getting that are actually negatively impacting you, when you like put it side by side with the dopamine hits you're getting, well, now you're just addicted because you're so waiting for that adorable golden doodle video. It finally comes, you get that hit, and then you keep scrolling for more. So this is like where people start searching for their confirmation bias.
And
Like,
not only
okay,
that,
I want to,
it's like, so like let's say you get the cute golden doodle video, right?
yes,
I
yes,
mean, you're on such a variable ratio schedule of
yes,
like every, I
yes,
don't know, about every 10, you're like, oh my God, I totally connect with that. Because of the
yes,
algorithm, it knows what you're going through in your life. It knows what you're interested in at the
yep,
time. It
yep,
knows that like you're struggling with your 3-year-old with tantrums. Like the
yes,
variable ratio schedule is the most resistant to extinction. And so you will
exactly.
keep going and it's never a good time to stop.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And so this is where we get into the new discovered issue with screen time at bedtime. So I think last time I was on, we were talking about blue light and how blue light is blue light suppresses melatonin production, which is true. It does. And we thought back then, that was like 2 or 3 years ago, we thought back then that it was this melatonin suppression that was causing the difficulty falling asleep when you were on your screen. Last March, a new study, a huge study came out, just about a year ago, that really, it didn't debunk, but it kind of realigned the thinking of screen time at bedtime. We still now know screen time pushes bedtime way ahead, like much later than we ever thought, right? By 2 or 3 hours. But it's not actually the blue light anymore, which is interesting because I'm going to tell you a couple like geeky things. One, blue light stops melatonin production, and now they find out that the blue light and that melatonin production actually doesn't cause sleep latency. Now we have to like unpair that. So now we're thinking, well, what is the role of melatonin in sleep onset and sleep onset latency? And like, why are people taking so much fucking melatonin if melatonin isn't actually the thing that is contributing to decreased or increased sleep latency?
So
So that's like thing
it's
one.
kind of
That's
like
geek.
when we
That's
look
geek
at the
thing one.
function of a behavior, right? We're like, oh, the function's attention, but But we're using escape extinction. Like, it's not matching the function, you're saying. So, like, melatonin's
Yeah.
not the issue, and then they're taking
Yeah.
melatonin.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. So that kind of uncouples the association between like melatonin and sleep onset latency a little bit as an aside. But then what it really uncoupled was this notion that it's the blue light related to the screen time that is causing sleep delays. What they found was that it's basically user error and user tendency, and it's actually personality type. And I say personality type not in like the woo woo way, but the personality tendencies of the user that's really impacting the problem with sleep onset and late sleep bedtimes that are associated with screen time. So what does that mean? I'll explain that. It means that me, Emily, I can scroll. Well, I don't scroll anything. Okay, that's a bad example. But okay, let's pretend I scrolled Instagram because there was a day that I used to do that, right? There was a time when I used to scroll Instagram. So let's say I'm laying in bed and it's 10 o'clock and I'm scrolling Instagram. I can look at the clock and say, okay, it's 10:15. I need to go to bed, and I'll just turn it off because I don't really care. I don't have FOMO. I'm not like so into what I was watching that I can't stop it. I have fairly good self regulation, and I can kind of say, like, you know what? My sleep is more important than what I'm watching. I'm going to turn it off. Okay. So
Says no one
that's
ever.
that's me, right? That's
No,
me because
it's
of
incredible.
me. So, but what the research shows is that people who have poor self regulation, who tend to experience time blindness, so now we're talking about ADHD and things like that. People who experience FOMO, they actually list FOMO in the research study, like a fear of missing out. People who have like, social, whatever, fear of missing out, FOMO. They've got the FOMO. Um, and people with I should have pulled up my notes, but basically if you have poor self-regulation and you tend to people who get easily immersed in their activity and lose sense of time, so that time blindness, I think
That's
it could
me.
say.
Totally.
The population that's the most impacted besides personality type, that is specifically age related, children, adolescents, and young adults. It literally lists children, adolescents, and young adults who are the most predisposed, who are at the highest risk for allowing screen time to impact their bedtime. Why? Because naturally, this population, I'm not even talking about ADHD or autism or anything. I'm just saying kids, adolescents, and young adults have high reward seeking tendencies and very low self regulation tendencies. So this is like when you put that and then you have, let's say, an adult with high reward seeking and low self-regulation, then you get just a recipe for disaster, and you get a recipe for people scrolling. And what does that do? That pushes bedtime later. That, pushes, the time that you're in bed trying to like, get to sleep, or you're constantly saying like one more, or whatever. And you're just scrolling. So it's like a couple different features of personality type that really contribute to misuse of screen time at bedtime. So you have to like build guardrails for yourself
No,
if
I
you
mean,
want
I
to.
think I, like, meet every single one of those criteria of no, totally, like, of every
Yeah,
single thing you're saying.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and then, like, I get an idea. I'm like, I see something,
Yep.
then it gives me an idea, and then I have to, like
Oh, now you have
I
to go to
stop
Pinterest.
texting the team at night at, like, 2 or whatever. Instead, I'll put in an email. Like, I'll think of something and
Mm.
be like, "Oh, we gotta do this, blah, 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 blah," like, these different things, and so
Yeah, but you have to shape your own behavior. Yeah.
oh, 1,000%. I mean, I know it's not healthy, and then, like, it ruins the next day for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and then look, with the screen time, because when we get off of screen time, we feel worse than we did before. Now we haven't really solved any of our issues, because you're very likely to get off of screen time and then just ruminate and just think about all the crap that you still have to think about. All you've done is delayed the inevitable of like scrolling, like those swirling thoughts at bedtime. You've just delayed them. So now like you're really screwed because you're like, you're using your screen all the way until whatever midnight, and then you get off your phone, and people don't tend to fall asleep, right away after they get off their phone. But they've also missed all of that nice like falling asleep stuff, but that I like. I don't know. I
I
like
mean, it's
falling.
so crazy. So, like, I keep Shabbat, so I'm not on my phone Friday night to Saturday night.
Well, yeah. How's Friday night for you? What do you do on Friday night? Like, walk me through Liat's bedtime
Right.
routine on a Friday night.
So Friday night, I'll go to dinner. I mean, depending on what time of year, Shabbat starts later during this time because the sun goes down
Sure.
later.
Yeah.
But like, I literally go home, brush my teeth, wash my face if I had makeup on, maybe not. Then I will, um, I'll I'll usually take my sleeping meds, read a book, and go right to bed within like a couple of minutes.
And then how's your quality of sleep overnight?
I sleep amazing.
Okay. And you wake up refreshed?
Um, yeah. I mean, like yes, but it depends. Like sometimes, like I've just been like so crazy at work, like all week that it's
Yeah.
like if I almost feel like if I didn't have Shabbat, like I would be in a
Yeah.
continuous lupus flare up because my body would be
Yeah.
like taking no breaks. But it's
Yeah.
like, but like to me, and that, technically, yeah, that's discipline doing that every week. But it doesn't feel like that to me because I've been doing it for so long.
Well, you've been doing it forever.
That's what
So
I'm
it just
saying.
feels
But like
like
if someone were to tell me, like, Leah,
you could do
this
that during the
Wednesday
week.
night, I want you just to take your sleeping tablet at by 9 PM, okay? And then read
Yeah.
for a little while. I'd be
Yeah.
like, I was podcasting all day, teaching the collective. I just want like to just chill for a minute.
Yeah. But couldn't you chill and like watch TV instead of chilling and like
That's like a
scrolling?
skill I
Yeah.
genuinely need to work on because
Okay.
like if I'm watching TV, I'm never just sitting there. Like I always am like, I ask people, I'm like, do you like just like sit there and watch like this? Or like, I'm like, you're not on your phone at the same time? Like,
Yeah, you need big help. Yeah, I mean, look, I yell at my husband for that all the time. I'll walk into the room and I'll say, "Are you watching this?" Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm watching this, but he's literally like hyper focused on whatever's happening on his phone. I'm like, how on
right.
earth?
Like the amount of
I
times
don't
I'll have to like
understand.
rewind something or be like, I didn't even see the show at all. Or like, like,
Yeah, everybody does that. Yeah,
no, but like it's bad. Like I'm like, I could be listening to a podcast
yeah,
and it's like, was I even listening? Like, did I even hear one? Like, it's
yeah.
genuinely, so I'm actually going to Israel for a month this summer with the goal
Oh,
of, well, first of all, like Kobe to be with like his family, especially a lot of it. They have um a lot of Ali Ransai, which he has not met yet. But also I was like, I just want to slow down, like just like for a little while,
yeah,
just have like a break in my like I have such
yeah,
behavior chains here that are like
yeah.
grinding, 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 this like to that to this, that I was like,
Are you going to be able to separate though, even when you're on vacation? Like when
yeah,
you're on
I don't
vacation,
know. I
kind
like
of
that's why I'm like,
slow
I
down.
really need to
You
figure
don't
out a
know.
way that like, okay, like
Yeah.
he goes to camp. I was like I like maybe I need to like talk to you about a plan of like how to actually because I do feel like I genuinely lack the ability to chill.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
even on like a Sunday, right? When it's like I don't really even it's like I feel like I automatically need to be running like to Target or like whatever, but like is it urgent? Like no. Like it's not even
But do you really have the inability to chill, or you just have competing reinforcement available to you too often? Because on Shabbat, I would imagine you chill.
Shabbat. I left my house. First of all, this past Shabbat, it was my sister's birthday, and so I told her that I'd have all 3 of her girls sleep over. One of her girls actually is under, like, sleep training now, she's almost 3.
Oh, oh
Like,
gosh.
my sister's like, "My life is literally hell, like, I have not slept," like so I was like, "You know what? I'll take all 3 of your girls on Friday night,
Okay.
right? Because it's your birthday, and you deserve a break. We live on the same
Okay.
street, whatever." I usually have, like, the 2 older twins who are 7, about to be 8, but I took the almost 3-year-old,
3-year-old. Okay.
and we were jumping on the trampoline by 6:30 AM. Kobe at least, like, sleeps, whatever, and I left my
Oh,
house at, like,
cute.
9 to, like, walk over to, like, go to a friend's, like, we're gonna have coffee on Shabbat and then lunch, and I didn't come home until 9 PM.
Okay.
So, like, I'm not chilling.
Mm.
No, but
But is that
sometimes on
normal?
Shabbat,
Is
I
that
literally, like,
average?
I'll take a
Yeah, but is
nap,
that,
which I
yeah,
never could do in, like, on a regular day.
yeah. The Shabbos schluff. There's nothing
Exactly, the
better.
Shabbos Shluff.
There's nothing better. Yeah, I mean, look, I think I think people can do really hard things. I think you have to find the motivation and obviously the reinforcement in it. And I think very often we have too many competing variables that, we're constantly in this position of chasing the thing that feels better, right? Rather than chasing the thing that is going to be better for us long term. But screen time, I feel like, is an easy place to start, but not everyone feels that
No,
way.
I
A lot
mean,
of people
I
feel
know I
really.
literally feel like I antecedently need my phone out of the room.
Yes. So that's one of the
Like, this is dying.
recommendations. So one of the recommendations in the study is to actually park your phone outside of your room. And so people will say, like, well, I care for an elderly parent, so what do I do in case of an emergency? Well, I think it's the problem that we were talking about the princess phone before. It's
Get a house phone?
like people should probably have house phones, but a lot of people don't anymore. But yeah, I mean, there are ways to set your phone so that you can have it on do not disturb, and you can have certain people be able to ring through. So like your parents or your spouse or your kids. So like when my phone is on do not disturb, I can still get phone calls from my kids and my parents. I can still get texts from them too because I have it set up that way. So if you have your ringer on and you put it outside of your bedroom, you'll be able to hear if people call you in the middle of the night. Well, I use it for my alarm clock. Okay, well, that's what Walmart is for. Like, you go to, you need an actual alarm clock. You don't need your phone
Right,
for your
or, like,
alarm.
you can
Oh,
use
well,
Alexa.
yeah, or whatever. And then, people, oh, well, that's how I fall asleep. And that's usually the last one. That's usually the one where I'm like, aha, j'accuse. Like, that's where we're at, right? Oh, I listen to podcasts to fall asleep. Well, that falls in the same category, right? That falls into the same category. You're not going to have a great quality of sleep. If you're falling asleep listening to a podcast or music or something like that, because then you wake up at 2 a.m. and you're like refreshing the podcast or putting on a new playlist or whatever it is. If it turns off after you fall asleep, that's a recipe for a disruptive night awakening. And then we have people who are awake for, I don't know, half hour, an hour in the middle of the night saying they can't get back to sleep. And I go, well, how did you fall asleep? Were you listening to a podcast? Were you listening to music? Were you listening to something that goes away after, a certain period of time? That
I just looked up on my phone because last night I, like, literally was not falling asleep at all. So
Okay.
then I'm like, type in sleep podcast, right? I'm like, sleep. I'm like, you're saying boring. Then it's like
Okay.
it's called this podcast called Dead Sleep, True Crime for Bedtime.
Oh, okay. That would give me
And, like, I'm
nightmares
literally
hearing.
falling asleep to murder.
Look, you do you. I'm
No,
not
I'm
going to
saying it's
say
not.
like the quality of what it is. I always look at, is this a sustainable habit that's contributing to healthy sleep, or is it a sustainable habit that's actually causing poor sleep? And that's going to look different from person to person. Are there people who can fall asleep listening to podcasts and sleep perfectly well through the night and feel refreshed in the morning? Of course there are. Are there equally as many people who fall asleep, at bedtime, think they fall asleep great, and then they're up in the middle of the night refreshing podcasts or, doing whatever, having trouble falling back asleep at, between 2 and 4 a.m. Then they finally fall back asleep at 4 a.m. Yeah, there's equally the same number of people doing that thing. Right. And this goes screen time. This goes alcohol. This goes marijuana. This goes, I just said marijuana, like Mary Jane, like weed. Does anyone call it marijuana anymore? But the same thing,
Marijuana.
marijuana cigarettes. But anything that's going to sedate you to sleep is also going to fall into that same category of being really disruptive overnight. And we run into this a lot in the autism population because we have a lot of kids on a lot of sleep medications, and it works, right? They work to help them fall asleep at bedtime, and bedtime gets really great for families and everyone's reinforced. But then they have these huge middle of the night awakenings between like 2 and 4 a.m. And then the families are like, well, at least bedtime is good, but it hasn't really fixed the whole sleep
Right.
problems. That's with any sedative for adults, kids. Just, it's like you can't have it both ways. It almost feels like with some of these sleep medications.
It's behavior, bitches.
Hey guys, it's Liat. We did it again. We made the boring not boring. We've done it a couple times and now we're just getting really good at it. Have you checked out our SAF meds? What are the SAF meds? Well, if you know what it stands for, all my ABA nerds out there, say all fast minute every day. We've taken the standard SAF meds and made them actually funny. I mean, imagine playing Marry, Fuck, Kill or Would You Rather with SAFMEDS. We have 5 crazy game variations, all the data sheets you need to track your fluency, understanding the ABA terms. If you're looking for fun ways to study, this is it. I know a lot of you guys, like myself, had bad experiences with having to make SAFMEDS in college, but we have made over 560 Snabified SAFMEDS for you. This took over 2 years in the making. They're perfectly thick. I'm very into how something feels. They're color-coded. They're already made for you that you could grab it, have it ready to go. So head on over to studynotesaba.com and get your SAFMEDS now. 2 things I want to talk about, both because they apply to me.
Yeah.
Sorry to make this podcast about me, but
All right, it is.
it's my way of like free advice. Teeth grinding. So like I
Yeah.
grind my teeth so badly to the point that I've actually now been sent to a prosthodontist to like look for like a full mouth
Yeah.
restoration. Like, like on your teeth, you usually feel like ridges. Like if you
Yours are
like the shape of
flat.
a tooth.
Yeah,
My
yours are
teeth feel like it's just completely flat. Like if you go
Yeah.
back all the way, like I've grinded my
Mm.
teeth so much. I've had different grinding plates at different times.
Yeah.
It somehow I like throw it out in the middle of the night, without knowing, and then it's missing because it's like my dog's favorite $500 chew toy, which is like
Yep.
if I didn't think my
Yeah.
dog was annoying enough. So like I've been without a grinding plate for a while now. But I actually, by the way, if anyone's listening to this, I actually just got it's like $500-$600 at the dentist for a new grinding plate, but like the ones from Walmart are just like so shitty and like don't fit
Yeah.
well. So there's this
Yeah.
brand called Sweet Guards. Is that what it was? Sweet Guards. They send you the entire thing that you can make the impressions at home and they send it
Yeah.
back to their labs. It's $150, but that's like a quarter of the price.
Yeah.
And so I actually just did it yesterday. So we'll see how it comes out. But what is sleep grinding doing to us? Is it affecting sleep?
Um, look, I mean, I find that most people who grind their teeth don't just grind their teeth at night. They also grind their teeth during the day. Do you grind your teeth during the day too?
Not that I know
Do you
of.
ever
Not
notice?
that I
Do
know
you
of, but
ever
it's
notice
crazy. I
that?
actually hear Kobe like
Grinding his
grinding
teeth?
his teeth in the day and sometimes at night, like literally like
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, usually it's a function of some kind of like, nervous, anxious, something like that. I actually, we usually recommend some kind of a mouth guard for kids who grind their teeth if they're willing to use it, but it's really a hard thing to stop. But what can be very helpful is just better sleep hygiene, more relaxation before sleep onset, and making sure that stress levels throughout the day aren't like spiking so much that the person isn't in like a constant state of distress all the time. That can be something that's helpful. It doesn't always cure it,
like
right?
I
There's not
don't
like
know if necessarily like so my dad, like apparently the dentist is like, I could tell this is your kid, like the exact same, like the level of grinding.
Yeah,
Um
yeah,
my dad actually just had to get like all new implant teeth, just I mean, more so also because he had chemo 3 times and it just like killed his teeth and he was getting root canals.
yeah. Oh,
But
shame.
like I don't know, like, because 'cause I've been doing it since a kid, like, I don't know if it's because 'cause I'm stressed, like, or I don't know if it's, like, it's just a genetic component that, like is that a thing?
Yeah, I think there is something to that, a little bit, but we do find that, people who do mindfulness, meditation, it can reduce it. But also it's just like almost like a reflex too. So
Mhm.
I think that's why most people resort to night guards.
'Cause, I mean, I've done
Um,
the Botox in my jaw, I didn't really notice any difference.
yeah, well, that's for like TMJ, right? For
No,
people
they
who
put the
grind big
Botox
blunts.
that, like, it freezes the muscles so that you can't grind,
Oh, so that you can't like go back
but
and forth
I
and
never
forth.
found that it worked for me,
Eh.
so I'd rather have Botox in my forehead, you know?
If you have to make a choice,
Yeah.
if you're gonna be going to the doctor, you might as well. Yeah, and I think sometimes the night guards can be really aversive because they're so huge. But I think nowadays, nowadays, I think they make them a little bit, thinner. Like I know that I don't grind my teeth, but I clench. Like I clench my jaw, so sometimes I'll wake up with a headache. And I did Invisalign like 2 years ago, like to correct my bottom teeth, whatever. But now that I'm done with the Invisalign, I have to wear the retainers every night. And I'm not waking up with any headaches anymore just because that they're so thin, and they might not be able to withstand actual tooth grinding. I'm not an orthodontist. I would have no idea. But I find that I actually either clench less, or because there's a liner in between my teeth, that it's like almost like putting pillows in between your teeth instead of having that tooth on tooth. And I also had a fissure in one of my teeth from the clenching too. And that has like stabilized too. So, even people, even just like thin Invisalign, I think can offer some kind of relief. Or I don't know. I'm interested to hear what your thing looks like when it comes back. If
Yeah,
it's the
no,
same.
I am too,
We used to
because
call them hockey pucks. Like it used to be like you
no,
literally
some of
put a
them, like,
hockey
they're
puck in
so
your mouth.
uncomfortable to me. It's like,
Yes.
and then I'd be
Yes.
like, "Ugh, fuck it, I'm not gonna wear it tonight." Like, I want a good night's sleep. Like, I don't
Well,
feel
it's
like
punishing. Like who wants to do that? And then
right.
like,
I'd be like, "I
it's
deserve a good night's sleep
yeah.
tonight. I'm not gonna wear it." You know?
Yeah.
But, like, at
Well,
this point
it's
now, I need to, like,
supposed to
literally get all my teeth fixed because
it's
some of my
supposed to
teeth in the
make
back
sleep
are
better.
literally breaking because they've been worn
Yeah.
down so much that,
Yeah.
the inside of your tooth is hollow. So, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
but so
It's supposed to improve your sleep. It's not supposed to
I
make it
that's
better. Isn't that
what I'm saying. So, okay, it's
the
that, and then the next thing I wanna ask you is about the Aura Ring. Do you wear an Aura Ring?
I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Do you love it?
I hated it for the first like 2 months because I experienced okay, I'm going to geek a little bit again. I was suffering orthosomnia, which means a basically perseverative behavior of trying to fix my sleep. So ortho is like to fix, like orthopedics, orthodontist is like to pick, and some to fix, and then somnia is from sleep. So fixing your sleep is
Oh, you love
orthosomnia.
Greek roots too. Me too. Cool.
I love words. I really do. But like that, when I heard that on a podcast like 2 years ago, and I was like, that's me. That's me. So anyway, so I don't know why I thought it would be a brilliant idea to get an Aura ring, but I I got it. And then for the first couple days, I was like, I'm literally gonna die. I'm literally, my sleep is terrible, my exercise is terrible. I must be like the worst person on the face of the planet. Every morning I would wake up, I would sync it to like worse and worse numbers, and it would be like, you've experienced more stress than usual today. That's okay. That's like a usual part of it. It has like this nice little like written message every morning if
Yeah.
you've had
I
coffee.
actually
So it's
had
like,
one for like a couple weeks and I returned it because I was like, I can't see the value here.
so for me, I I track a lot of things. I mean, like I track my activity, I track my cycle, I track my sleep, mostly because
Does it
I
count
really,
steps?
yeah, oh yeah, it counts steps, it counts like your heart rate variability, it tracks your oxygen saturation, so it's really helpful if like you have um sleep apnea or something like that.
Uh-huh.
It'll tell you if you stopped breathing in the middle of the night. It's basically like the cheapest, most basic form of of a sleep assessment. If you're worried that you have sleep apnea, just, I don't know, get an Aura ring and return it. You'll find out very, I don't know, don't do that, don't do that, that's mean. But I don't know, I like it again because I'm fascinated by sleep and sleep cycles and what contributes to good sleep and bad sleep. And for me, it helps me be a better educator. For my, like, in the Sleep Collective, I do a sleep certification program, so I feel like it makes me a better teacher for my students because I I understand like the role sleep latency plays in my total night sleep. And so why am I such a like a taskmaster about sleep latency? It's because I see how it affects sleep the rest of the night, and I have evidence of it, through my Aura ring, and I can screenshot things and share it with people. I can see how a middle of the night awakening isn't the worst thing in the world. You can still have really good quality sleep and still wake up for a period of time in the middle of the night and still have great sleep if you've had the right amount of REM sleep, if you've had the right amount of deep sleep, right? And figuring out that, okay, it's not always about total sleep. Like on the nights when I sleep less than 7 hours, yeah, my sleep score isn't great, but it's not awful. It's not like I'm not getting like a 40%. I haven't totally failed if I've achieved, over an hour of REM sleep and over an hour of deep sleep, that's actually pretty good, even though I didn't sleep a full, 7 or 8 hours or something like that. So for me, it just kind of puts things in perspective a little bit. And so I can just disseminate this information a little bit better based on
I mean,
my
you
own
have to have
pattern.
it.
Yeah.
It's like
I
me
mean,
teaching test prep and not having a Cooper book, you know?
exactly. Like that would be weird, right? So yeah, I mean, I like it. I've used it in a lot of presentations. I stuck it in the Profound Autism Summit in my slides for that one, because it really helps us understand why our learners wake up for so long in the middle of the night, and helps us understand why it feels like, okay, my kid falls asleep great but doesn't stay asleep all night long. They sleep great for 3 or 4 hours, and then it's like they've forgotten how, like they just can't stay asleep the rest of the night. And this is because of sleep architecture. It's not like you have a problemed child. It's that the problem happened at bedtime, and because of the way sleep builds up across the night, yeah, you're not going to have as many wake ups in the beginning of the night when all of your deep sleep is consolidated. You're much more likely to wake after 2 a.m. Whether you're 3 years old or 30 years old or 90 years old, you're more likely to wake in a disruptive way 2 a.m. and later, let's say, no matter what time you went to bed at the beginning of the night. So I don't know, it just helps me illustrate those kinds of
Yeah,
things.
totally. I mean, and all behavior analysts love good data and a graph.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it shows up as a graph every single morning, which I love. And then I can be like, okay, here's where I had that awful nightmare, and I woke up and I was like breathing heavy for like 20 minutes, like I couldn't calm myself down, and like, oh, here's where I fell back asleep. And
No, I love it.
I don't know.
Okay,
It's
now my
interesting.
my last thing, and I actually texted you the other day in a little bit of a tiz, which so let me tell you, I was teaching the collective the other night, right? So I teach every Monday and Wednesday night. I
Yep.
I was teaching from the office, so I usually come home maybe like 9:30, but I see there's like 3 missed calls from my nanny, right?
Okay.
And so then I get a text from her and it's like, sorry, but my phone like literally was on silent and upside down, so I didn't even like get the silent ones, whatever, which I probably should
Yeah.
change my do not disturb things. And she sends me a text. She's like, I'm so sorry for calling so many times, but Kobe was being really, really weird, but he's put himself back to bed. So then I get home
Okay.
at like 9:30 and she's like waiting for me. And she's like, Leah, you really need to pray for Kobe. I'm like,
He's
"O-
possessed.
I'm like, okay.
Nightmares.
I'm like, okay, she's being like a little dramatic, but like, all right. I was like, yeah, like what's going on? She's like, please look at the Ring cameras. She's like, I was just following him around saying Psalms. So I put on the Ring camera and you literally
Oh
see
God.
Kobe like walking around the house, like he'd wait crying.
Uh-huh.
Right? Like, I want my mom. No, no, I want my mom. No. And she's like,
Mm.
Kobe, you're okay? And then she's like, no, 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 Lord. Like you hear her like citing
He's
like
praying over
Psalms,
him.
yeah,
Yes.
in the background, but like following him in circles. Like, cause like there's like a center, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, kind of like LOL when I see it. And then, so I'm like, okay, go to bed. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, so then I'm then like, I guess like he put himself down in my bed. Like, I guess he left his bed, had this night terror.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize what it was yet. I thought she was being dramatic. And then he wakes up a little after and I'm there. And he's like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. I'm like, Mom, I'm okay. You're okay, Kobe. Mommy's right here. Like, no, don't want that.
Aw.
He's like getting up, standing, like ready to like attack something like in the bed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, Kobe, I'm right here. You're okay. Like, you're safe. Like, trying to like rub his arm. He like pulls away, like, no, blah, blah. I want my mom. I want my mom. I'm like, Mommy's right here. Blah, blah, blah. Then he starts like walking around the room. Like, his eyes are totally open. I think he's awake.
Yeah.
And then there's like a
Yeah.
picture of him next to my bed. And he's just standing there, like pointing, like, I want it. I want it.
I want it.
Come, Baba. I want it. What do you want, Baba? I want it. I want it. I want it.
You're
And I'm
thinking
like,
he's like, what? What's the
literally
girl's name from The
petrified. I'm like,
Ring?
I feel like this guy is like possessed on The Ring.
Yes,
And I'm like,
what's her name?
I'm here, get into bed. And
Yeah,
after like 15
terrifying.
minutes, he just puts himself back to bed and falls
Like
asleep.
nothing happened. Yep.
And I'm like, what the
Did it
actual
happen
fuck
again?
just happened? Like, I'm like,
Did it
I'm scared of my own kid. Is that even my kid? Like, what is,
did
and
it
I'm
ever
like,
happen again?
now I understand her walking around with the prayers.
Yes.
I was like, God, please forgive me for judging her.
Did it ever happen again?
Yeah, the next night.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
And
that
he's
night he
doing
did have a
night
little bit
on
of a
that?
fever the day
Yeah.
of, but then it happened the next night. And
Mhm.
another, so I posted on, and I texted you that night being like,
Yeah.
what the fuck
What happened?
is going on? And then I posted on Instagram, does
Yeah.
anyone like have experience with their kid having a night terror? Because I think I'm like researching it. And like, I cannot tell you, I probably got like 50 responses of people being like, oh my God, yes, it's the scariest thing ever.
Yep. Yeah.
Can you talk about these night terrors?
Yes. Yes. Well, night terrors can happen at any point in life. Usually, as people get older, it's usually a trauma response. But in very young children, usually under the age of 5-ish, it's usually just because the sleep pattern has changed, or maybe it's been like a particularly, I'm going to put in huge air quotes, like a stressful day. What does that mean? Maybe the teacher was absent, right? Or like, kid gets a new bus driver or something like that,
I mean, actually, that's interesting because I forgot the nanny had said, she's like, he's just walking around like, I need a poop. I need a poop because like literally that week I was like, this is ridiculous. Like he's 4, he's the only kid in his class wearing a diaper still. I was like, I am like leaning in on the boot camp. Like we are. So maybe that could have been the stressor.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. It could also be fever driven. Fevers also are notorious for stimulating night terrors. I think the most important takeaway about night terrors is that they happen in the very deepest phases of our sleep, and the child is not aware of it. The human is not aware of it. Whether it's an older person or a younger person, they're not aware of it. So the worst thing to do is to talk to them and wake them up, because it's like, for any parent who has been woken up by a child when you are in your deepest sleep and you wake up and you feel nauseated and confused and like, what the fuck is happening in my life right now? Was it an earthquake if you live in California? Like, you're so confused when you get woken up from your deepest phase of sleep, no matter what. So when we wake a child up, when we try to say, wake up, it's okay, you're just having a dream, they're not having a dream. They're not aware of it at all. And waking them up makes them feel even more confused, more disoriented, more upset. So that's thing one. We never want to wake someone if we know it's a night terror. How do we know it's a night terror? Night terrors tend to happen within the first 3 or 4 hours of sleep. So if it's at the beginning of the night,
Yeah,
it's
it was like
most
9:30,
likely
10. He goes to bed at 7:30.
Yep. Yeah. So it's most likely a night terror if it's happening in the first 3 or 4 hours of sleep. If it's happening much later in the night, like, I don't know, after like 5-6 hours of sleep, it's probably a nightmare. The other way you can tell the difference is, are they easily comforted when you offer them comfort? So if it's a nightmare, your child will be responsive to comforting. They'll be responsive to, it's okay, mommy's here, you're okay. They'll be responsive to that, and they'll usually calm down. If it's a night terror, they will get more escalated if you try to offer them any comfort, even at the lowest level.
Yeah, like
And
it's like
it will
don't
feel like
touch me.
nothing's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll feel like nothing's working, right? So that's kind of like how you can tell the difference between a nightmare and a night terror. And I think the comforting piece for parents is that they don't remember it. They're not actually possessed. I've done plenty over the last 15 years that I've been treating sleep in the autism community. I would say I've had a healthy dose of families who have already called their priests. Like, no joke.
So like this is a thing.
It's a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing. But the child isn't actually possessed. They're just having a night terror. It's happening in the very deepest.
I think I'm actually gonna like add that part to when we post the video of this.
Yes.
I'm gonna add in the part of Kobe being like, I want it. I want it. And it's a picture of him just like smiling.
That's her name.
And
I
I'm
keep
like,
forgetting her name. It's
and then
like
he like
Samara
puts
from The
himself
Ring.
in like my curtains and he's like,
Yes.
I want it. And he's like hiding in my curtains. And I'm like, wait, I'm like creeped out. Like, I'm about to run away from the house and just leave you here.
Burn the house down. We're moving. No, it's nothing to worry about. And so what it very commonly happens, and I'll give you like the most common where we see it with almost 100% reliability, 3-year-olds that are dropping their naps. If they go a whole 12 hours without a nap, very often that will be a recipe for a night terror that night. It's a function of being a little overtired, and overtired isn't like inherently a bad thing. We don't want kids overtired every single day, but it's a sign that their body has been awake a really long time. They haven't had a nap, which is very normal around like 3.5 years old, up until 4 years old, whatever. But when 3-year-olds are dropping naps, that's usually when most 3-year-olds will exhibit a night terror, is if there's been some daytime regulation or variability with their daytime sleep, or if they've skipped a nap, which is also very common, very normal. Like if they're going to skip a nap, they're going to skip a nap. It's not a big deal.
Or if they were at my family Seder the night before till 1.
Yes, exactly. You will definitely get a night terror that night for sure. But the answer isn't don't ever go and like have fun with your life and always be worried about your child's night terror. Just know that, okay, if we spent a little extra time out and it's been a weird night, just okay,
Like,
there'll be a night
it's
terror.
almost like worse for the person watching it.
100 bazillion%. Absolutely. Yes, for sure. That's their night terror is not because they're terrifying to the human, they're terrifying to the observer. It's really awful. I mean, they look awake. Usually even their eyes are open.
No, they're completely open. That's the scarier part.
Yeah, and pointing, and you're like, where is the spirit in my house? Like you're just thinking, yeah, of course, yes. No, yeah, it's common, and it looks the same. It looks terrifying. I mean, it's even worse for adults. Usually adults, a lot of adults with PTSD and
Well, because they're like what I was. I mean, then I like went on this like whole deep dive. Like,
oh no,
apparently it could like if it's PTSD, it could be like, or I mean, it could be if the kid's watching something scary on TV. It could also not help, right? Or no?
No, that usually shows up in nightmares because that's usually a processing thing. So usually, so like if you think about stress as a chemical response in your body, it's the chemical response that your brain is responding to. It's not like the thought process. So like if you see something, scary on TV and you're trying to figure it out and you're 3 years old and you walked in and you like saw some like scary thing on TV or something like that, you're more likely to try and figure out how to process that. And that's what'll happen during dreams and nightmares and stuff is you'll be processing that stuff. But like the night terrors are more of like a chemical reflexive response to either a trauma or lack of sleep. It just messes with your brain chemistry too.
So it's like a respondent behavior. Kind of.
Well, no, because you can't really control it, and you can't.
That's what I'm
always figure
saying.
out
It's
what the signal is.
involuntary.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it fit in that category, but I try to make everything tie in somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's a biological reflex, really. And so it's not something you can very easily control, except by sleep hygiene and taking care if you do have a history of PTSD. If you have, and we don't usually see that with very young children, unless, we see it more commonly in like the foster care system if they've been, there's been obvious like sad things. But for most average kids, between the ages of, I would say like 2.5 and like 4.5, let's say, I would say it's more likely just something, with sleep or with some kind of low level stressor that, like I said, it could be a new bus driver, new teacher, new baby at home, something like that. But a lot of those things can also lead to nightmares. So you just want to be sure whether it's a nightmare or night terror before you like intervene.
Well, thanks
crazy.
for
The brain
thanks for saying the difference. And for anyone listening,
yeah.
if this is good to know that
Yeah.
you're not alone. It doesn't mean necessarily that your child's being abused somewhere else. Also, my nanny went to that. She was like, I don't know who's at his dad's this weekend, blah, blah, blah. And I'm
Yeah.
like, he is totally fine. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. But you go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
at
of course.
bedtime,
I mean,
you go down the rabbit hole.
yeah, of course. You go through
know,
everything.
Google. Yeah, and you want to find, the thing, but it's usually for young kids. It's not usually something that's that traumatic. It's usually more likely that it's something having to do with sleep, or new house, new move, something big
Well,
can also stimulate
unreal.
it. But yeah, it's cool. I don't know.
Emily,
My son had them for years, not years. I'm sorry, for weeks when he was 3 and dropping
yeah,
his naps.
it's
Not
weird.
for years ago. He's 15 now. He made it through. He made it through.
Okay, that's good news. So, Emily, that's all I have for you today. Thanks. It's always so fun when you join, chatting,
Oh, it's so fun.
easy
It's
back
always
and
good
forth.
meeting you. I know.
I adore you, right?
Yes, and I adore you. And I
Perfect.
love getting your random calls for help on text.
On like random thing, it's not just for sleep. It's just like
No,
anything, right?
it's always whatever. Yeah, I appreciate it. It makes me feel thought of. So there you go.
Good. Well, thanks.
I love it.
All right, Emily, where can everyone find you?
ReadySetSleep.com is the easiest place. I can actually be found on the SNABA CEU website. You can grab my Sleep Pro bundle if you are a BCBA treating within the autism population and really want to get a handle on your sleep knowledge and sleep interventions and things like that. Go find me on the SNABA CEU website. Go grab those CEUs. There's a Sleep Pro bundle, which is awesome. And that can be on, SNABA. What's the SNABA CEU website? I don't know.
CEU.studynotesaba.com.
That's it. That's the plug. So go find me there. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. Like I said, I'm not on any of the other social media platforms. Don't even friend me on Facebook because very likely I will not see it. So yeah, LinkedIn. Come find me on LinkedIn. I have a really awesome newsletter, if I do say so myself. You'll get my blog. I blog
I should
every
actually,
single
I don't know
day.
if I'm subscribed to your newsletter. I don't know if I knew that.
The
I'll,
newsletter, the blog. The newsletter usually kind of has a link to the blog, and it's just really great information. It's very specific to ABA, BCBAs. It's designed specifically for people who are treating within the ABA provision model. So everything is ethical. Everything falls in line with the stuff we're already doing in clinics and homes and schools. Lots of takeaways. My blog last week was about napping in clinics. So if you work at a clinic, go check out my blog from last week. Well, actually, what's last week? Well, when is this coming out? It's May right now. It's the beginning of May. But yeah, like nap times in clinics are often something that gets sort of overlooked or
right.
deprioritized or just causes a big problem. So anyway, lots of different goodies for the BCBA who is out there in the field doing the Lord's work.
Well, thank you. You guys heard it. You can find everything at readysetsleep.com or on LinkedIn, Emily Varon, Varon, which you'll see written in the title and show notes. And as for us over here on the Behavior Bitches podcast, where can you find us? You can find us on behaviorbitches.com. There you could also reach out if you have a good guest that you want to come on. If you're the good guest, if there's a topic you really want to hear about, please reach out. You can find us. You can keep listening to us always on Apple Podcast or Spotify or Google, wherever you listen to your podcast, and go leave 5-star reviews there. You could on Instagram, Behavior Bitches Podcast, TikTok, Behavior Bitches Podcast, Facebook, Behavior Bitches Podcast, and most recently on YouTube. We have a channel separate from Study Notes ABA called Behavior Bitches Podcast, where we actually are putting the effort in and recording the podcast visually, as many of you guys asked. So please go subscribe there. It would mean a lot to us.
It's a
And
really great setup, I have to say. It's a treat. It's a treat looking at your whole background and the whole vibe. It really
it's
is
like a
treat.
real setup here. There's like 4
I
monitors
know.
going on, like 3 cameras.
Yeah.
It's a legit thing. We're like
I would
legit.
watch you on YouTube. I would watch you on YouTube.
Good. Well, please go subscribe after if you're a real friend.
Like and subscribe.
Please. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Emily, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you. And I love you and mean it.
Good. Well, you're going to help me say it now. That's all we have for you today, everyone. Love you.
Love you. Mean it.
It's Behavior Bitches.